Hello everyone and welcome to another comparison video. I'm Toto and today we are comparing the Tomb Kings of the 8th edition with the Tomb Kings of Old World Almanac. Tomb Kings is a very interesting army. It was my first army that I started playing all the way back in 7th edition. At the time they were pretty bad, and even in 8th edition they had their problems with not being able to march. Fortunately, in Old World Almanac, there are some ways that we can circumvent that, so we're going to have a look at that as well. We're going to start with the army special rules, then we will look at the individual units going up to the magical items, and at the end we're also going to look at the Arcane journal. But first to the army special rules. So what do we have? We have Arrows of Asap. Arrows of Asap basically says that you will always hit on your unmodified ballistic skill, which is the same as in 8th edition. That did not change. So most things will actually be hitting on a 5+. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the same as in 8th edition. Cleaving Blow. Cleaving Blow is basically the inferior version of Killing Blow. It's a tiny bit of a nerf for us, since Doomguard in the past always had Killing Blow. Now they got Cleaving Blow, which only will deal 1 wound against regular infantry, heavy infantry, and light cavalry and heavy cavalry. Curse of the Necropolis is an interesting rule. Basically, it says whenever a model with this special rule will lose his last wound, and the unit that dealt the last wound will have to take a leadership test, and if they fail it, the enemy unit suffers D3 strength 2 hits. In the past, it was basically the same. It was only something for Tomb Kings and Tomb Princes, but it was a little bit stronger. If a model with the curse rule is removed from play, then enemy unit responsible by inflicting the final wound, for example, will immediately suffer D6 strength 5 hits. For a Tomb King, and for a Tomb Prince that would be D6 strength 4 hits, so a little bit different there, a little bit weaker in Old World Almanac, but anyway, it didn't do much for me anyway in 8th edition to begin with. Dry as Dust is basically our negative rule. Most armies have some kind of rule that's really bad for them, just as Warp Spawn for Demons of Chaos. In the case of Tomb Kings, that is Dry as Dust. So what does it say? Whenever you get an unsafe wound from a flaming attack, your opponent can roll a d6, and on a roll of 4+, you will take another extra wound. Indomitable is a new rule that did not exist in the past. Basically, whenever you lose combat, you will lose less wounds of the unstable due to the unstable rule. If you got Indomitable 2, for example, you will lose 2 wounds less. So that's a very good rule. We didn't have something like that. However, we did have the Tomb Kings Battle Standard Bearer Special rule in 8th edition, which basically was Indomitable 1, as long as that unit was within 12 inch of your Battle Standard Bearer. So the interesting thing... Oh no, wait, there's a little bit more, my bad. So Kopesh is a new rule we have. It's the special Tomb King weapon, you know, the curved sword, basically. So what does it do? It basically gives you an armor piercing characteristic of -1, which is nice. Nehekharan Phalanx is a new rule, because the whole thing with combat changed anyway. So if you got a unit with this rule, then you can choose to not give ground, as long as they are in close order. So Nehekharan Undead, we cannot march unless they have the fly special rule and they choose to move by flying. So that's interesting to remember. We got Fear, Immune to Psychology, Unbreakable, and Unstable, which is the same as in 8th edition. In that special rule are Unbreakable, Unstable, and cause Fear. However, in addition, units with the Nehekharan and that rule can never ever make a march move, and when charged can only elect to hold. This is very important because this last part in 8th edition is not the same as in Old World Almanac. Okay, since we are unbreakable. We are not allowed to choose the flee option, but however, you do have the option to stand and shoot. So instead of just holding, you can always stand and shoot if you can do so, of course. But since a lot of units actually in the Tomb King's army roster have like bows. For example, the chariots, of course, the skeleton archer horseman. So definitely interesting that we got that option. Resurrecting the Fallen is still the same. You first have to heal your characters, then models with more than 1 wound, then a unit champion if he would have died, and then at last rank and file models are resurrected. Alright, so those are the army special rules. What I want to say earlier, you will see that there's no Hierophant rule at this moment. At least it's not written in these special rules. However, it's probably more above when we go into the units, which we'll do now. Actually, I haven't read the Ravaging Hordes book through yet, so it's also a little bit new for me, which is interesting. All right, I went up a bit too far. Those are the beastmen. Mistake. So there we are. A little bit of lore, always nice. So the army list. You always need to have either 1 Tomb King or Tomb Prince, or 1 High Priest or Mortuary Priest. You can have 1 Tomb King or High Priest per 1000 points. And you can have as many Royal Heralds and Necrotax as you want. You need at least 25% of your army points on core. You can choose 1 unit of Skeleton Warriors or Skeleton Archers. So that's a must. Skeleton Skirmishers, Tomb Swarm, Skeleton Horsemen, Skeleton Horse Archers and Skeleton Chariots. You can take as many as you want. You can take 1 Tomb Guard or Sepulchral Stalkers. They may be taken as core choice, so that's nice, because in the past Tomb Guard were always only special choices. Then 50 points of your army may be spent on Tomb Guard, Shabti, Sepulchral Stalkers, Carrion and Acropolis Knights. You can take a maximum of 3 Tomb Scorpions per 1000 points, a maximum of 2 Cimmerian War Sphinx per 1000 points, and then on rare you can also spend 25% of your army points as maximum, as with any army basically. You can choose Necrolith Colossus, Necrosphinx, as many as you want, maximum of 2 Screaming Skull Catapults per 1000 points, and 1 maximum of 1 Casket of Souls per 1000 points. 20% of your arm points may be spent on mercenaries, and 25% of your arm points may be spent on a single allied contingent. Yeah, so you cannot choose multiple. You can choose in Tomb King's Army of Infamy composition list. We will see those in the Arcane Journal in a bit. Or you can choose a Grand Army from 3 allies, which is very interesting. Orc and Goblins, Warriors of Chaos, and Beastmen Brayhearts. But they're all suspicious allies, so there are some limitations we got there. However, choosing 3 allies is very interesting. A lot of armies can only choose 1 or 2 allies. Alright, so then we get to the Monarchs of Nehekhara, so we start with the Tomb Kings. So for 160 points, you got the Tomb King. Let's quickly see in the book. 8th edition. Tomb King. Yeah, 10 points cheaper than in the past. In 8th edition it was 170 points. We got movement 4, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 3, strength 5, toughness 5, 4 wounds, initiative 4, initiative 3 in 8th edition, 4 attacks and leadership 10. That's the same. Then the Tomb Prince for 90 points, 100 points in 8th edition. Weapon skill, movement 4, weapon skill 5, risk skill 3, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks and leadership 9. That's all the same. The Tomb King comes with a hand weapon and heavy armor. In 8th edition he had hand weapon and light armor for some reason. Tomb Prince hand weapon and light armor is the same equipment as in 8th edition. You can choose a couple of different weapon options. You can choose an additional hand weapon. You could not choose that in 8th edition for 3 points in Old World. A flail for 3 points, 6 points in 8th edition. A great weapon for 4 points, that was not an option in 8th edition. A halberd for 3 points, also not an option in 8th edition. Cavalry spear 2 points, also not an option. And oh well, you can take a spear, so just a spear. Okay, so I guess it's the same. 3 points in 8th edition. You may take a shield for 2 points, 3 points in 8th edition. He may be mounted. Yep, we see that later. Tomb King may purchase up to 100 points of magic items. That's the same as in 8th edition. And Tomb Prince up to 50 points, and that's also the same as in 8th edition. So we got a couple of rules. Curse of Necropolis, dry as dust. Yeah, that's the same, except dry as dust, of course, that's something new. Flammable, so we also had that in 8th edition. Indomitable 2, the Kopesh, so that's nice. My Will Be Done, that's we also had that in 8th edition, of course, a very important lore-wise rule. Nehekharan Undead and regeneration of 5+, which is very nice because they did not have regeneration in 8th edition. So what does My Will Be Done? What does it do in 8th edition? During the command subphase of your turn, you can make a leadership test, and if you pass it, you can choose one of these 3 benefits. So you can have +3 D movement, +1 weapon skill, or +D3 initiative. How did it work in 8th edition? In 8th edition, it was you only had one choice, and it was to improve the weapon skill of the unit that you have joined with your Tomb King or Tomb Prince. So I was actually pretty strong because the whole unit would get the weapon skill, the unmodified weapon skill of the Tomb King or Tomb Prince. So having Tomb Guard of weapon skill 6, for example, would be possible, and that was actually really strong. Well, not extremely strong, but really decent, I would say. And now you can only have +1 weapon skill. I understand that, well, Old World Almanac, everything got nerfed a little bit, and I think having Tomb Guard running around with weapon skill 6 is a little bit high. Yeah. So that's the Tomb Kings and Tomb Princes. Then we got the Royal Heralds. The Royal Heralds. In 8th edition, they were called the Tomb Herald. 60 points in both editions, that's the same. Movement 4, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, and leadership 8. That's all the same. Comes with hand weapon and light armor, just as the same as in 8th edition. You can take an additional hand weapon for 3 points. That was not an option in 8th edition. Flail for 3 points, 4 points in 8th edition. Great weapon for 4 points, also the same as in 8th edition. And a halberd for 3 points, only 2 points in 8th edition, that's interesting. A cavalry spear for 2 points, or just a spear for 2 points in 8th edition. You may take a shield for 2 points, also in 8th edition, 2 points. And he may be mounted. Also the same as in 8th edition. In 8th edition you could either put him on a skeleton chariot or a skeletal steed. You may purchase magic items up to a total of 75 points. In 8th edition it was only 50 points, so 25 points more flexibility in Old World Almanac. Banner of the King. What is Banner of the King? A royal hilt that has been upgraded to a well-stand bear, replace the hold your ground rule. Alright, so what does it do? Whenever you lose wounds, you reduce the number of lost due to unstable rule by D3. So that's actually better than in 8th edition, since in 8th edition the battle standard bearer could only ever reduce 1 wound lost by the unstable special rule. So going to a maximum of having to lose 3 wounds less is really good, I think. Sworn Protector. We also had that in 8th edition. In 8th edition it was called Sworn Bodyguard. So should a Monarch of Nehekhara model suffer a hit pass within 3 inches of this model, you may choose to transfer to that hit and all of its effects onto this model. Very nice. Basically, you can save your monarch from, for example, a killing blow attack. And I think, yeah, you can just do that whenever. In 8th edition, it was the same. However, you had to roll on a d6, and on a 1, you could not intercept that wound. So your monarch would still get that wound. On a 2+, okay, the wound is intercepted. So this rule became better since you don't have that random chance anymore of it going wrong. Even though that chance is very small, it's still nice to know that you got this one for sure. And also regeneration of 5+, which is really good. So the Lich Priests, you got a High Priest for 140 points. Let's see how much that is in 8th edition. 8th edition, it was 175 points, so 35 points cheaper in Old World. Movement 4, Web skill 3, Ballistic skill 3, Strength 3, Toughness 4, 3 wounds, Initiative 2, 2 attacks in Old World, only 1 attack in 8th edition, and Leadership 8. You start with a hand weapon, same as in 8th edition. You start as a level 3 wizard, also the same as in 8th edition. You can choose your spells from Elementalism, Illusion, or Necromancy. For 30 points, you can be a level 4 wizard. That's 35 points in 8th edition, so 5 points cheaper. You can spend up to 100 points on magic items, which is the same as in 8th edition. The normal Mortuary Priest, it's really cheap in Old World, only 55 points, 70 points in 8th edition. So also here became a bit cheaper. Stats wise, it is the same. He starts as level 1 wizard, and for 30 points he can be a level 2, 35 points in 8th edition. He may be mounted, and a little bit more flexibility here, because in 8th edition you could only mount him on a skeletal steed. In Old World Almanac there are a couple more options you can choose. So Arise is a new rule. Instead of, so in the past, with how did you get your models back, basically you would use the lore of Nehekhara, and then with the what's it called, the magic special rule, you would always get like a couple of wounds back. So Arise basically became like an ability you can use during the command. So phase of your turn, you make a leadership test, and then you can choose a unit within 12 inch, and that will recover a couple of wounds. Actually quite a lot, I think. For regular infantry, heavy infantry, or swarms, you get your level of wizardry plus D3. So your level 4 wizard, that's always a minimum of 5 wounds, which is really nice. Light cavalry, heavy cavalry, and war beast is your level plus 1. Monsters infantry, monsters cavalry, or light chariot is your character level. So that can also be 4, which is really good. Because in 8th edition, if I'm not mistaken, you could not heal chariots that much. Let's see. Page 28. How much can you get back? Oh, there. No, it's not really explained that well. Oh, there it is. Units with the animated construct can only ever recover a single lost wound in this way. So, yeah, a lot of things had like that special rule, the animated construct. So, you could only ever get one wound, recover one wound. But there's a little bit more flexibility here, since only Heavy Chariot or Monsters Creature or Behemoth or War Machine can recover a single wound. But all the rest can actually recover quite a lot of wounds, so that's very good indeed. You got also regeneration of 5+, and you got the rule from Beneath the Sands. So what does that do? During the command surface turn, if you're not engaged in combat, this cat makes you a single friend unit. and with the ambusher special rule, and that's currently held in reserve, and attempt to summon it by making a leadership test. That's completely new. Could not do that in the past. Absolutely not. But that's really cool, I think. So if you got an ambusher unit and you failed it to, and it did not come in the battle round, you can do it again. Try to summon it, and it can then be anywhere within 12 inches of this model. But okay, not within 6 inches of any enemy models. If the test is failed, well then you don't summon them. But it's very interesting indeed. So here's the Hierophant rule. You need to have at least one Lich Priest in your army to be the Hierophant, which is important. Why? If the Hierophant dies, then you will lose your regeneration rule. I see here now that in the past, in 8th edition, if you had a Hierophant, then that particular unit, only that one unit, would have a regeneration of 6+. So, but having a whole army-wide regeneration is of course way better. Anyway, if he dies, then the whole army will lose the regeneration special rule. And then at the end of the phase in which your Hierophant was removed from play, and then during each of your start of turn sub-phase, all friendly units with the Nehekharan in that special rule must make a leadership test, and then they lose a number of wounds equal to the amount by which it failed this test. Yeah, that's the same as in 8th edition. Protecting your Hierophant has always been key in playing this army, so it's good that they kept this rule, even though it's like something very negative. But it's just what makes Tomb Kings, I think, and it's a good rule to have. I mean, it gives the whole army regeneration as long as he's alive, so it's very important to keep him alive and to not lose any models due to failed leadership tests. So the Necrotect for 55 points. 55 points. Let's see. 60 points in 8th edition. Movement 4, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 2 attacks, and leadership 7 is all the same as in the past. So what do we got? We got Dry as Dust, Eternal Taskmaster. What does that do? During the command phase of the turn, this character may attempt to drive a unit to greater efforts. So you can make a leadership test basically, and if you pass it, then the unit that you have joined gains the extra attacks +1 and hatred all enemies, which is very good, very good. In the past, there was the same kind of rule. It was called Wrath of the Creator, because they basically hate seeing other people's constructs or something. They're just, how do you say it? Like, they're just angry art people. Anyway, as long as you had the Necrotect in the unit, it would have hatred. So this one is a little bit better, even though you have to make a leadership test. However, if you make it, and often you will have some kind of Tomb Prince or Tomb King, so you will have a decent leadership, you will also get 1 extra attack, which is very good indeed. He's flammable, he has a Kopesh, right, and a regeneration of 6+. So then here we got the character Mounts, Skeletal Steed for 12 points. For the Tomb King or Tomb Prince. Yeah, that's very interesting. You could not put him actually on a Skeletal Steed in 8th edition. That was not the option. You could either put him on a Chariot for 55 points, 35 points only in Old World, or a War Sphinx for 210 points. And we see that in a bit. The Royal Herald on a Skeletal Steed for 12 points, 10 points in 8th edition, so 2 points more expensive here. Chariot was also 55 points in 8th edition, 20 points cheaper in Old World, so definitely a buff. High Priest can be put on a Skeletal Steed, only a Skeletal Steed in the past, definitely not a Necrolith Bone Dragon. That's a new unit, a very cool unit actually. We see that in a bit. So the Skeletal Steed, what does it have? It has movement 8, weapon skill 2, strength 3, toughness of the model, which is good, initiative 2, and 1 attack. no leadership. The skeleton chariot, so the same movement as the steeds, of course, which are 8, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, which is the same. It had a 5+ armor save, yep, the same as in 8th edition. Twice dust impact hits D3. In the past it was a little bit stronger. You had D6 impact hits. Nehekharan and Undead, they are open order, reserve move, which is very nice, which means that they can actually move once again at the end of the shooting phase. You could not do that in 8th edition unless you would use a special spell for that from the lore of Nehekharan, but just having this rule on the unit itself is very good. Swift Stride, which was also the same as in 8th edition. Tomb Guard are 10 points per model. Tomb Guard were 11 points per model in 8th edition. Movement 4, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 2. So that's actually a drop since he had initiative 3 in 8th edition. 1 attack per model and leadership 7, leadership 8 in 8th edition. You have to put them in a unit size of 5+, a unit size of 10+ minimum in 8th edition. They would have hand weapon and light armor and shields, which is the same as in 8th edition. They had Killing Blow in 8th edition, a little bit of nerf here since they got Cleaving Blow, and Nehekharan Undead. So for 1 point per model you can give them Halberd, 2 points in 8th edition, so more expensive here. For 18 points you got Full Command, 30 points in 8th edition. You may take a Magic Standard worth up to 50 points, also 50 points in 8th edition. For 1 point per model you can make them Drilled, which is nice, you can freely redress the ranks if you wish to do so. Or for 1 point per model, in addition you can also have them the Nehekharan Phalanx special rule, so that they don't have to give ground, which is also good to have, I think. They got Cleaving Blow, but I said before, close order, Indomitable 1, that's nice. Kopesh, also nice, but I think most often you wanna go for those halberds, as long as you can pay for it, of course. They are regeneration, they got a regeneration of 6+, and they are a regimental unit, which is nice. And that was also not the case in the past, so you can give them a detachment if you would like to do so. Very nice indeed. Skeleton Warriors for only 4 points per model. Same as in 8th edition, 4 points per model. Movement 4, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 3, toughness 3, wound 1, initiative 2, 1 attack, and leadership 5. That's all the same as in the past. Unit size of 10+ minimum, which is the same as in 8th edition. Hand weapons and shields also the same. You can give them Thrusting Spears for 1 point per model. Also Spears 1 point per model in 8th edition. Or you can also give them Light Armor for 1 point per model, also in 8th edition. That's also the same. Only 15 points to give them Full Command, 30 points for in 8th edition. The Master of Arms, so the champion, you can give him, if you want, magic items. That was not the case in 8th edition. You could not give your champion magic items, just not at all. You can give them the Nehekharan Phalanx special rule for 10 points for the whole unit, which is nice. And you can give them also a magic standard worth up to 50 points. You could not give Skeleton Warriors a magic banner in 8th edition, so a little bit more flexibility here as well. They are close order, they are horde, so you can count 1 extra rank bonus during combat resolution. Nehekharan Undead, of course, regeneration 6+, and they are also a regimental unit, which is nice. Then we got Skeleton Archers for 5 points per model, 6 points in 8th edition. Movement 4, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, so with arrows of Asap you will always be hitting on 5s, just as in 8th edition. Strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound per model, initiative 2, 1 attack, and leadership of 5, which is all the same. You have to take them in 10+ minimum or 5+ if they are in detachment, which is nice because you couldn't make them a detachment in 8th edition. They come with hand weapons and a wall bow. That's the same as in 8th edition, however it was just called bow in 8th edition. You can give them light armor for 1 point per model, you could do that as well for 1 point per model in 8th edition. For 15 points you got full command, and that is also a points drop because that was 30 points in 8th edition. So as I said before, they got Arrows of Asap, which is nice. Detachment, so you can actually put them together with a unit of Tomb Guards or something, for example. They are Nehekharan Undead, and they are open order with a regeneration of 6+. Skeleton Skirmishers is a new unit for 4 points per model. They are a little bit faster with movement 5, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 2, 1 attack, and leadership 4, so a little bit less leadership. You can give them either war bows or shields, or both if you want, for 1 point per model. And you can also make them ambushers, which is cool, because you could not do that in the past. There was no such thing as skeleton skirmishers. You can also give them ambushers, with just 1 unit though, which is nice. Was also not the case in 8th edition. They got Arrows of Asap, chariot runners, so that means that chariots can just basically move through them or steed through them as if they were not there. They are Nehekharan Undead, regeneration of 6+ skirmishers, which is also nice, and they got a Vanguard, which is also nice. Very nice unit to have in the army roster. Shame we didn't have that in 8th edition. Plus Hati. In 8th edition they were kinda not so good, in my opinion. Just kinda overlooked. Not so good. Let's see how they are in Old World. 49 points, 50 points in 8th edition, movement of 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength. That's actually better because they had ballistic skill 2 in 8th edition, so you would only hit on 5s if you would give them bows, so now they will be hitting on 4s, which is very good. Strength of 4, toughness 4, weapon skill 3, initiative 2, 3 attacks per piece. They actually had initiative 3 in 8th edition, leadership of 8, that's also the same. You have to take him in units of 3+, which is also the case in 8th edition. They come with hand weapons, visual blades, and heavy armor. In 8th edition they only had a hand weapon or a great weapon, no armor. You may take great bows if you want for free. That was the same as in 8th edition, you can give them great bows. So what is a great bow? Has a range of 30 inch, strength 6, AP -1, armor bane of 2, multiple wounds 2, and volley fire. A little bit better, I think, than in 8th edition, since there were no multiple wounds on great bows in 8th edition, and you could also not give them volley fire. So that's nice. And the ritual blade is strength +2, AP -3, requires 2 hand and strikes last, so basically the same as a great weapon. They got Arrows of Asap, close order, indomitable 1, Gopash, Nehekharan Undead, and regeneration of 6+. It's actually more interesting to take them in Old World with bows than in great bows, than in 8th edition, since that extra ballistic skill, hitting on 4s instead of 5s, I do think that makes quite the difference. So definitely more interesting. Tomb Swans for 37 points, 40 points in 8th edition. Movement of 5, movement of 4 in 8th edition, weapon skill 3, strength 2, toughness 2, 5 wounds, initiative 1, 5 attacks, and leadership 10, which is the same. They got venomous bites and stings, count as hand weapons, and you can give them the ambusher special rule for 2 points. In the past, in 8th edition, they had like this special rule which was called Entombed Beneath the Sands. So basically you would choose like a point anywhere on the battlefield, and you would roll a scatter dice and I think a scatter dice for sure, and an artillery dice, I think. Let's see. Yeah, roll a scatter dice and artillery dice. If you roll a hit on the scatter dice, the marker stays in place. Of course, if you roll an arrow, then it will move. And then from that point it would come out of the ground. However, you could also misfire, and then if you rolled 1 or 2, it was, you would lose your unit. So that was really bad. So having them as just ambush us is also nice, I think. To Beneath the Sands was a very cool rule in 8th edition, but a bit risky. I do think I like just them being ambushers, which you know eventually will come on the battlefield, is better than having a chance it will die. So the Carrion, the bird, 27 points in Old World, 24 points in 8th edition, so a little bit more expensive in Old World. Movement of 2, weapon skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks and leadership 4. That's all the same. It has beaks and talents. It could fly, just as in 8th edition. It had the regeneration of 6 plus, well, not in 8th edition. Skirmishes and swift stride, that's also nice. They didn't have that in 8th edition, but I'm thinking now that flying warbeats were always skirmishers. I'm not sure. Anyway, knowing that they are skirmishers and swift stride is really nice. Skeleton Horseman for 11 points per model. Skeleton Horseman in 8th edition were 12 points per model. So the Skeleton Steed goes with a movement of 8, which is the same. Web skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 2, 1 attack and leadership 5. That's all the same. I have to take them in units of 5 plus, which is also the case in 8th edition. They have hand weapons and shields. Skeleton Horseman 8th edition had a spear. But okay, you can take 1 cavalry spear for 1 point per model, so then it would be 12 points per model, as the same as in 8th edition. You can also give them light armor for 1 point per model, 2 points per model in 8th edition. For 80 points you got full command, 30 points in 8th edition. You can give the champions some magical items, not the case in 8th edition. You could also give them 1 unit per 1000 points. You can give them counter charge, which is nice, definitely nice to have. Counter charge was not a thing in 8th edition. And you can give them a magic standard worth up to 50 points. You did not give them any magic standard in 8th edition. Yeah, close order. Yeah, also Horde, which is good. Nehekharan Undead, regeneration of 6 plus, Swift Stride, and Vanguard. They did have Vanguard as well in 8th edition. Skeleton Horse Archers for 11 points per model. Let's see, Skeleton Horse Archers 14 points in 8th edition, so 3 points cheaper in Old World. So the stats are the same, so we don't have to cover that. They come with hand weapons and war bows, the same as in 8th edition. You can give them light armor for 1 point per model. You could not give them light armor if you wanted in 8th edition, was just not the case. For 18 points you have full command, 30 points in 8th edition. You can give them chariot runner special rule, that's very nice, that was not the case in 8th edition. So they got Arrows of a Sap, yep, that's the same. Nehekharan Undead, open order regeneration of 6 plus, reserve move, which is very nice. They didn't have that in 8th edition, so they're a little bit more flexible. Scouse, which is also nice, they did have that in 8th edition. Skirmishers and Swift Stride, also nice to have. Necropole Knights, a very, very cool unit. Also one of the newer plastics kits, at least less old than 20 years. 54 points in Old World, 65 points in 8th edition. Got movement 7 of the Necroserpent. The Knights have weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds in total with the Serpent. Initiative 3, 2 attacks and leadership of 8, which is all the same. They have hand weapons, cavalry spears, light armor and shields. They had they just had like stone hide, which meant that in combination with all the other stuff they always had an armor save of 3 plus. So for 21 points you have full command, 30 points in 8th edition. You can give them a magic standard, not the case. However, you could give them 5 points per model and to Beneath the Sand special rule. So to make them some kind of like ambushers, basically. The captain can take a great weapon. Nope, not such choice in 8th edition. Or you can give them magic items up to 25 points, also not the case in 8th edition. So they have Armored Hide, Cleaving Blow, Killing Blow in 8th edition, Close Order impact hits of 1, Indomitable 1, the Kopesh. The Serpent has poison attacks, which also only the Serpent had in 8th edition, and regeneration of 6+, and Swift Stride. Alright, let's see, I do think they had like a 3+ armor save in 8th edition. Let me just check. Yeah, they had Nehekhara's Knights have a total armor save of 3+. So how much do they have in Old World? Light armor, shields, and Armored Hide. So they have a 4+. Okay, so the armor save is a little bit less strong as in 8th edition, but 4+, it's still decent, still okay. Then the Sepulchral Style goes for 52 points per model. 55 points in 8th edition. Movement 7, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 2 attacks per model, and leadership 8. That's all the same. You got hand weapons, the tail, and halberd, petrifying gaze, and heavy armor. You could give them ambushes for 2 points per model. They had a Do Beneath the Sands rule in 8th edition. So they have this tail. You can make an additional D3 attacks each turn, each of which must be made with this weapon, which is nice. You couldn't do that in 8th edition. No, I don't think so. I think they did have something with their tail if you wanted to do so, but definitely not D3 extra attacks. That's really good actually. Wow, crazy. Petrifying Gaze. They did have that in 8th edition, and 8th edition was called Transmogrifying Gaze, a very difficult word to pronounce, with only a range of 8 inch, while having 18 inch here, which is very good. So you would make a roll to wound for an attack made with this weapon, substitute the target's toughness with this initiative. No armor saves are permitted. That's the same as in 8th edition, however, something that's important. Yeah, instead when the unit shoots, roll an artillery dice for each sepulchral stock in the unit and add results together. So you could have a lot of shots while only having 1 shot in Old World. But I think having those many shots was very strong. Also, you could misfire and then you would get D3 automatic wounds with no armor saves allowed, because they would like glimpse their own reflection in a shield or a sword or something, like they would petrify themselves. Still decent. It does multiple wounds D3, so still interesting if you're playing against ogres or something, or against any monster / behemoth. Alright. Skeleton Chariots for 43 points per model. Chariots 55 points per model in 8th edition, so big points drop of 12 points here. Very nice. Movement of 8, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, that's all the same. Basically all the stats are the same. They have the crew has hand weapons, cavalry spears, and war bows. Same as in 8th edition. For 18 points you got full command, 30 points in 8th edition. You could take a magic standard in 8th edition up to 25 points, 50 points in Old World. Champion you can give him magic items, was not the case in 8th edition. Special rules. So in 8th edition they had the special rule and the Tomb King's Road to War, which basically said Tomb Kings are allowed to join a unit of chariots, but that's still in Old World this case. If you just put a Tomb King or a Prince or whatever on a chariot, you can put them in a unit of charioteers, which is nice. So they come in the unit size of 1+. In Old 8th edition, you always had to take a minimum of 3 chariots, so unit size of 3+. an armor value of 5+. In 8th edition, that was the same. Let's see, they got Dryas Dust Horde, impact hits of D3, D6 in 8th edition. Nehekharan Undead, open all regeneration of 6+. They also got a reserved move, so they are a little bit more flexible on the battlefield, which is cool. And they have Swift Strike. Okay. Note that the Master Charioteer, Standbearer, or Musician each replace a single skeleton crewman, and that each must be placed aboard a different chariot. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Alright, so the new Bone Dragon. Very cool unit. I really hope I will get my model soon. So for 195 points extra for your Catter, you got movement 6, but can fly for 9. So okay, weapon skill 4, strength 6, toughness +1, +5 wounds. So if you would put him on, or if you put the Tomb King on Bone Dragon, it has toughness 6 and I see 9 wounds if I'm correct. Initiative 2 and 5 attacks. It's on a big size though, 100 times 150. Has Wicked Claws. What does that do? So strength of the model, so strength 6, AP -2. It has a Breath of Devastation, so a breath attack, strength 3, AP -2, that's nice. So it's magical, that's also nice, and deals multiple wounds of 2, which is good. Oh yeah, and it has Dragonic Bone, so it counts as full plate armor, which is nice. So you can make your Tomb King like quite tanky, indeed. Yeah. So cross order, Cloud of Dust, what does that do? An animal model that targets during the shooting phase suffers an additional -1 hit modifier. Gives your Tomb King, Tomb Prince or whatever a little bit more protection, which is good. Dryas Dust, Fly, Indomitable 2, nice, large target, Nehekharan Undead, D6 Storm attacks, which is also good, Swift Strike, and of course Terror. Yeah, a very cool model, definitely almost a must take, I think, in most army lists to have at least one character on Bone Dragon, and it's just such a cool model. Definitely worth taking. The Cambrian War Sphinx. I also think it's a cool model. Maybe not as cool as the Bone Dragon. So the Cambrian War Sphinx, if you don't take it as a mount option, then it's 175 points, 210 points in 8th edition, so also a points drop here in Old World. Movement of 6, weapon skill 4, strength 5, toughness 6. Ah yes, I see now. Toughness 8 in 8th edition. Yeah, it was extremely tanky. So tough to get through. 5 wounds, initiative of 1, 4 attacks. It's a behemoth, yep. It has an armor value of 5+, which was also the same as in 8th edition. The crew has hand weapons, cavalry, spears, and short bows. The crew in 8th edition actually only had spears, so no bows here. Could not shoot. You may take 2 additional Tomb Guard crew, which is interesting. That was not the case. You just had your basic crew and that's it. You could not take an extra people. Can give him an envenomed sting for 10 points, also 10 points in 8th edition. So what does the stinger do? In combat, this model may choose to make one of its attacks each turn with this weapon, and that was poisoned, also in 8th edition, but definitely not with strike first ability. Special rule, I mean, that's definitely new. You can give him a fiery roar, which is a breath attack for 20 points, also 20 points in 8th edition. I'm not really sure about the power. Let's see, fiery roar. Cambrian War Sphinx for this upgrade has a strength 4 breath weapon and flame attacks. Okay, so it is basically the same as in 8th edition. So let's see, it has Arrows of Asap. Okay, nice, cleaving blow to battle crew only, close order. Howdah. Howdah is basically the same, so Howdah crew in 8th edition. What does it say? That they were treated as a single model, so don't try to subtract the wounds from the crew or the War Sphinx itself. All hits upon the Cambrian War Sphinx are resolved using monster toughness and wounds, and using it safe, that makes sense. Enemy models attacking the Cambrian War Sphinx roll against the monster's weapon skill and rolling to hit. Yeah, I think that's the same as in Old World. I didn't check it yet, but I believe it's the same. If it's not the same, please let me know in the comment section below. So it has Indomitable 2, Kopesh for the Tomb Guards, of course. It's large target, Nehekharan Undead, regeneration of 6+. Only D3 Stomp attacks, which is a little bit of a shame, because it had Thunder Stomp in 8th edition, which was D6, and of course, Terror. Yeah, so you can also make it a character mount for the same price, 175 points. Just quickly going to see if maybe it was cheaper in 8th edition to put your Tomb King on a Wasp Sphinx, and it's not the case. It's also 210 points in 8th edition. So definitely a points drop. Makes it more interesting to take the Cambrian Wasp Sphinx. Also, cannons are not that big of a threat anymore. Still dangerous, of course, but not as devastating, like, oh, I lose my Tomb King in turn 1. So maybe more interesting also to take a Cambrian Wasp Sphinx if you don't want to put him on the Bone Dragon. The Tomb Scorpion, which I think is also a very cool model, actually. Also, the whole concept of the Tomb Scorpion is cool, in my opinion. So, Tomb Scorpion is 70 points in Old World, 85 points in 8th edition, movement of 7, weapon skill 4, strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 4 attacks, and leadership 8, which is all the same as in 8th edition. It has decapitating claws, and what does that do? Strength of the model, so strength 5, AP -2, it has killing blow and monster slayer. That's really, really cool. Imagine you roll a 6 and you kill like a dragon or something. That's insane, actually. They did not have that in 8th edition. They just had killing blow and poison attacks, which was a bit weird because you had like killing blows and poison attacks in one thing. So I'm also happy that they made like a separation between those two. So you got Deprecating Claws, which has killing blow and awesome monster slayer. Holy shit, I only see that now. Sorry for my language. And Venom Sting. So you must make one, oh no, you may choose one of these attacks with this weapon, poison attacks, and strike first. Honestly, I think I would always go for the Decapitating Claws. Killing blow, AP -2, and monster slayer. Unless you know you're fighting something that has only 1 wound and no armor anyway, then okay, I guess you can use the stinger. But my goodness, those claws for 70 points, so good. Right, whoa, that's something. Indomitable 1, magic resistance of 1. That's also what they had in the past, because the idea was that there was like some kind of a priest or whatever entombed in the Tomb Scorpion, and that would like stop magic or something. It has Nehekharan Undead, regeneration of 6+, stomp attacks of D3, swift strike, and vanguard. Very nice. Yeah, a very cool model. You can also make them ambushes for 5 points per model, which is also interesting. But I'm still blown away by those decapitating claws with the monster slayer. Well, it's just crazy. Anyway, very cool. I'm definitely going to take a couple of these models when I'm playing. Alright, so the Colossus. Also cool. The old model looks a little bit funky. I kinda still hope they make a new model. Just the old model is so old. I don't really like it that much. Anyway, that's just personal opinion. 160 points in Old World, 170 points in 8th edition, so 10 points drop here. Movement of 6, weapon skill 3, basic skill 2, strength 6, toughness 6, 5 wounds, initiative 1, 4 attacks, and leadership 8. It's all the same as in the past. So you have paired Great Kopesh. In 8th edition, you just had a huge sword, which counts as hand weapon. Not even as great weapon, which is weird because it's called huge sword. Anyway, and heavy armor. Also did not have heavy armor in 8th edition, but it had the animated construct special rule, which is the same as a 5+ armor save. Close order, Indomitable 2, large target, the current undead, regeneration of 6+, stomp attacks, terror, timber, which is a funny rule. You can choose where the giant will fall if he dies, and unstoppable assault. What does that do? During command phase, Combat phase of any phase in which this model charge every attack it makes, because an unsafe wound allows it to immediately make one additional attack. Yeah, that's the same as in 8th edition. That was funny. Oh, these additional attacks also benefit from this special rule. Wait a minute, I don't think that's the case in 8th edition. Wait, that's important. Titan Nicolip Colossus. Oh, okay, that was the same. So know that these additional attacks also benefit from the Unstoppable Assault rule, but Thunderstorms do not. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, but yeah, pretty nice. So what do they do? Paired Great Kopesh, strength of 6, AP -2, Killing Blow, and requires 2 hands. Okay, pretty alright, I would say, pretty alright. But I think I like the Scorpion better. Difficult to say. Interesting to note that the High Road Titan is not in the army roster anymore. High Road Titan was basically the same as the Nikolov with Colossus, except that it could also cast because it had a couple of bounce spells, and it would make your wizard better. Because if you were within 12 inch of a wizard, then the wizard would get plus D3 on their casting results, which was very nice. Unfortunately, it does not exist anymore in Old World. Bit of a shame, but so be it. So the Necrosphinx, also a very cool model. Very cool art here also. For 195 points in... I need to drink a bit. 195 points in Old World. And let's see... Yeah, 225 points in 8th edition, so 30 points cheaper in Old World. For movement of 6, weapon skill 4, strength 5, toughness 6, toughness 8 in 8th edition, was also extremely tanky in 8th edition. Wounds of 6, only 5 wounds in 8th edition, so 1 wound more, that's nice. Initiative 1, 5 attacks, and leadership of 8. Has cleaving blades, decapitating strike, T-blow, and heavy armor. It was animate construct in 8th edition, so it just had a 5+ armor save. Can give him a stinger for 5 points, 10 points in 8th edition. Close order, fly of 9, fly of 10 in 8th edition. Indomitable 2, nice. Large target, Nehekharan undead, regeneration of 5+. Stomp attacks D3 +2. Oh, nice, okay. In 8th edition it was always D6, so D3 +2 is a little bit more average. Stress, Fright, and Terror. It has Soul Reaper, that's a new rule. I've never heard of that one before. After deployment, before the first turn begins, nominate a single enemy card. This is the soul marked by the Necrosphinx to journey into the underworld by the battle's end. This model may reroll any rolls to hit of a natural 1 made against the nominated cat. Oh, nice. Very cool. Very nice. So you got your cleaving blades, strength of 5, AP -1 and killing blow. It's the same. Decapitating strike. Yeah, so 1 attack is also the same as in 8th edition. Also called Decapitating Strike. 1 attack that you make, you can make 1 additional attack. I think in 8th edition you had to nominate 1 of your attacks to be the Decapitating Strike, and not, oh, I get an extra attack. Let me just check real quick, because that's pretty interesting. Before rolling to hit, nominate 1 of the Necrosphinx attacks to be made with the Decapitating Strike ability. Aha, so that's interesting. So you can actually, that's 1 attack extra, which is nice. So 1 additional attack is made with the Decapitating Strike on strength +5, so strength 10, AP -4, killing blow, monster slayer, strength blast, strike blast. Yeah, but very cool, very nice that it has 1 attack extra. So the stinger, you can make 1 of your attacks with the sting, which is poisoned and strikes first, but does not have strike first in 8th edition. Just let me have a look real quick if that's true. Oh, okay, so in 8th edition all the attacks were poisoned and not just 1. Okay, yeah, but definitely no, always strike first or something. No. Okay, nice, interesting. 195 points, so a point drop and an extra attack. A little bit lower toughness, but that's okay because it has 1 wound more. Still very cool to take. Also a very cool model, I believe. I'm still painting it. Definitely something you can consider when building your army list. This Screaming Skull Catapult for 105 points per model. Screaming Skull Catapult in 8th edition was 90 points, so 15 points more expensive in Old World. Also in 8th edition it had the toughness of 7, toughness 6 in Old World. The crew is the same. So it's basically a catapult, so use the normal catapult rules. You can take Skulls of the Foe upgrade for 30 points. What does it do in Old World? Until your next turn of turn surface, any enemy unit that was within 2d6 of the central hole of the blast template after scattering serves a -1 modifier to these shaped characteristics. Oh, that's nice. In 8th edition it was just as soon as you would lose a wound to the Screaming Skull Catapult, you had to take a panic test, and with Skulls of the Foe you would have a -1 on that one particular panic test. But yeah, it's the same. Any unit that suffers 1 or more unsafe wounds from this weapon must take a panic test as they have taken heavy casualties. But then Skulls of the Foe is a bit better because it's as soon as the impact occurs and also until the next turn. So definitely better than in the past, and cheaper also, 10 points cheaper. It has a strength of 4, nice, and a strength of 8 in the middle hole. I think only a strength of 3 in 8th edition because it was just a normal stone thrower in 8th edition. AP -1. It has bombardment, cumbersome, okay, flaming attacks, magical attacks, move or shoot, multiple wounds D3-1, and screaming skulls. Yeah, definitely nice. For 105 points, okay, 15 points more expensive, but I do think it's one of the better stone throwers. I think, because I'm not sure. I think most stone throwers do not have AP -1 on the normal wounds. So not the central hole one. I'm not sure though, but that's what I think. I might be wrong. Alright, so the Casket of Souls for 135 points, same as in 8th edition. It had a huge toughness of 10 in 8th edition, toughness of 6 in Old World, but okay, it has 1 wound more in Old World, 4 instead of 3 in 8th edition. And the Casket Guardians have the same stats as in 8th edition. So, hand weapons, great weapons, and light armor, cleaving blow, covenant of power, dry as dust, immovable object, so it cannot move. It's interesting to note because I do think it could move in 8th edition. What do we have more? Indomitable 2, Nehekharan, Undead, regeneration of 5+ skirmishers, and that's interesting. That is a skirmisher. That was also not the case in 8th edition. Unbound Spirits and Vortex of Souls. Let's see. So Casket of Souls. So Covenant of Power. Whilst within 12 range of Casket of Souls, friendly SPs may apply a +1 modifier to any casting rolls they make. Yeah, it's a little bit different because in 8th edition you would get T3 extra power dice to your magic pool. But well, the magic phase does not exist anymore as it did in 8th edition, so it's normal that they had to change it a little bit. But still, a decent rule. Immovable object. So, once a casket so has been placed on the battlefield during deployment, cannot be moved. Yeah, that was not the case in 8th edition, but it does make sense. I mean, it's a casket, how are they going to move it around? But that makes sense. So I understand the rule. Unbound Spirit. So, if the Casket of Souls is reduced to 0 wounds, immediately roll d6 for every unit within 12 inch. On a roll of 4+, that unit suffers d6 strength 3 hits, no armor or regeneration saves permitted. Unleashed Souls. That was the rule called. That was how the rule was called in 8th edition. So it's basically the same, except that it was d6 strength 6 hits. So a little bit stronger. Yeah. a little bit stronger, but apart from that, it's basically the same. Vortex of Souls. So you have two things you can choose to cast. So you have Light of Death. It has a range of 36 inch, 48 inch in 8th edition. The target enemy units must make a leadership test. If the test passes with these 3 strength 3 hits with the AP of -1. If it's failed, these 6 plus 3 strength 6 hits with multiple wounds 2 and no armor save or regeneration saves. Yeah, very, very strong. It was also very strong. In 8th edition, it worked a little bit different. You had to make a leadership test on 3d6, adding results together. And if you fail it for every point that you fail a test, you would suffer an automatic wound with no armor saves allowed. Just different, I would say. I do think maybe that in 8th edition it was stronger, but it was way more difficult to cast since your opponent could use so many dice to roll against it. That's why I think it was maybe also a higher risk, higher reward in 8th edition, because if the leadership test is resolved on a d6, roll d6, and then on a 3 or more, it would jump to another target within 6 inch of the initial target, which was really, really strong. So I understand why that part is gone. Light of Protection is a new spell we did not have that in 8th edition. Nope. So what does it do? Casting value of A+, it's an enchantment on yourself, remains in play. Any friendly model within 18 inches of this model gains a 6+ wall save against any wound suffered. In addition, while this bound spell is in play, enemy units suffer a -1 modified to rolls to hit made against this character. However, if this model casts a Light of Death bound spell, this bound spell will immediately expire. Okay, so it's either one of the two. They're both good. Light of Death is probably interesting to use in the beginning of the game, and then when combat starts, I would definitely use Light of Protection. It's very nice to have that spell in addition to Light of Death. Alright, so those were the units. Now we get to the magic items. Some are the same. I'm just going to check which ones are the same. So the first one that is definitely the same is the Destroyer of Eternities. Also a cool name. Destroyer of Eternities. So what does it do in Old World? For 75 points, it gives your characters +2 strength, AP of -2, killing blow, magic attacks requires 2 hands and strike last. You can also choose to make a scything attack, and then you would d6 automatic hits with the Destroyer of Eternities profile. It was kind of a bit of the same in 8th edition. For 80 points you had +2 strength and you had the heroic killing blow special, so basically Monster Slayer. You can also choose to do it like the sweeping attack, but it was different because every model in base contact with the wielder would suffer a single automatic hit. Yeah, I'm not sure which one is better. It's hard to say. They're both decent, but they're just so pricey. 80 points in 8th edition, 75 points in Old World. It's alright, I would say, but quite pricey. Brook and Flail of Radiance. It's a new weapon. It's only for monarchs of Nehekhara. So strength of the model, AP -1, D3 extra attacks, nice. Requires 2 hands, magical and spiced first, pretty good. Flail of Skulls, that does not exist. Yeah, okay, so 35 points. What do you have? Strength +3, that's pretty big. AP -1, magical attacks, multiple wounds of 2, and requires 2 hands. And of course, since it's flail, you only have the strength in the first turn, the extra strength modifier. Serpent Staff, also something new, only for Lich Priest. Strength +2, AP -2, magical attacks, poison attacks, and requires 2 hands. That's interesting. Yeah, if you want to start whacking with your Lich Priest. So, magic armor. We have Armor of the Ages. No such thing in 8th edition. It's a suit of light armor. And in addition, enemy monsters must reroll successful rolls to wound made against the rear. Yeah, that's cool. That's definitely nice. 50 points, I think that's pretty decent. Definitely. Shield of Tra. 25 points. And it's a shield, of course, and this enemy model directs the attacks against bear during the combat phase suffers a -1 modifier to the weapon skill. Not sure if that -1 is going to do very much, but for 25 points, it's okay. It's not that pricey. Crown of Kings. It's only for monarchs. So what can you do? You can also resurrect the fallen by making a leadership test. That's nice. However, if this test passes, a single friendly unit of skeleton warriors, skeleton archers, skeleton horsemen, or skeleton horse archers that is within this monster command range recover D3 plus 1 wound. So a little bit less flexible, so no tomb guard or chariots or whatsoever. So only basically for your basic troops. But 30 points, it's not that pricey, so it's interesting. Color of Sapesh, a single use color. Whenever you lose your last wound, roll a d6 on a 4+, the wound is not lost. That single friendly model within the warrior's command range is removed from play as a casualty, so that one skeleton would take the blow. It's nice. For 25 points, you can cheat yourself a little bit if you would die. So also interesting to have. So magic standards. We got the standard of the cursing word for big 80 points. Bastard bears only at the end of any phase in which one of them joined by the bear bears and of the cursing will lose his last wound. Okay, the unit that made the attack must make a leadership test. If the test failed, the enemy uses D3 strength 2 hits. Oh, so basically you give your unit the curse, as all your monarchs have. For 80 points, I think that's really a lot. Not really worth it, I think. Yeah, not really worth it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not seeing something, but that's really expensive for just 80 points. You get D3 strength 2 hits. It's not impressive at all. Okay, Icon of the Sacred Eye, however, is interesting. 50 points, you have a +1 modifier to your weapon skill. That's very good, since Tomb Guard only have a weapon skill of 3. So with this you would have a weapon skill of 4. And then if you use the My Will Be Done from your monarchs, you can have a weapon skill of 5, which is very nice. Icon of Rakav for 40 points. You may make a single free reform as long as you're not charging. So pretty good for 40 points. And Mirage Banner, if you get shot at, then the enemy suffers an extra additional -1 to hit modifier. 20 points, that's pretty cheap, pretty good. Something about the weapons, what I want to say is that in 8th edition you had a weapon called the Blade of Antarak, and actually that weapon does also exist in Old World. However, it's only for an army of infamy only weapon. We will cover that one in a bit. Alright, so enchanted items, the Cloak of Dunes. Yeah, that one did also exist in 8th edition for 50 points. Most would troop type infantry only. The rear would gain fly. Okay, that's funny. And if you move over an enemy unit, it would suffer D6 strength 2 hits with AP -1. In 8th edition, that was the same, also 50 points. But the enemy unit would suffer 2d6 strength 2 hits. So a little bit more hits there. Anyway, I'm not sure if I would use this item that often. 50 points to make something fly is kinda, I don't know. Icon of Rulership for 35 points for chariots only. So the model doubles its unit strength from 3 to 6, that's nice. So more chance that the enemy has to make fear tests. And impact hits have an arm piercing of -2 and are magical. Also nice. Death Mask of Karnut for 25 points. No, for 20 points. Excuse me. You get terror. Okay. Well, it was in 8th edition it was 60 points and would also cause terror. And then in addition, enemy units within 6 inches of the rear cannot use the General Inspiring Presence special rule or the Battle Stand and Bearer Hold Short Crown special rule. But yeah, that's 40 points more. Not sure if that's worth it. 60 points is very expensive. 20 points to get Terror is funny. Could be interesting. And kills Canopy. For 30 points. Single use only. It's a bear of so you may make a leadership test, and then if it's passed, then all the range spells in the game are gone. Including your own friendly wizards. Okay, it's alright, I guess. It's the same as if in 8th edition it was 25 points, but it was a bounce spell instead of like a leadership test or something with a power level of 3. If you would cast it, then you had to roll a d6 for every remaining spell, and then on 2+, that spell was automatically dispelled. And then for each spell that is ended in this way, add d3 power dice to your power pool. Yeah, so a little bit better I think in 8th edition, since you would get those power dice, but it does not exist in Old World anymore, so okay. Hieratic Jar, 25 points, you can take this one more often. Single use. If you're not in combat, you can release the Hieratic Jar, and then you may use Arise twice. Or well, try to use it twice, which could be really helpful in a pinch. So for 25 points, it's a good item, I think. Scarabouche for 20 points. When using From Beneath, the Sand special rule, a summoned unit can be placed on the battlefield anywhere completely within 18 inch of a Lich Priest wearing the Scarabouche rather than the usual 12. Oh yes, okay, so From Beneath the Sands is the Lich Priest version of using ambushers. For 20 points, oh that's very interesting. 18 inch, that's actually a huge... oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Definitely something to keep in mind. For 20 points, you can get your ambushers really quite close and far away. So definitely a good item, I think. Yeah, 20 points only. So the special rules, we did that, we saw those. So the Law of Nehekhara, we only have 3 spells left. We got Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blades, is an enchantment spell. What does it do until the start of next turn surface? Any friendly unit that has a Nehekharan, that special rule, may reroll any rolls to hit of a natural 1. In 8th edition did something different, quite different actually. It was also cast on a 7+, and it was an augment spell, so enchantment. What it did was that it made sure that you would have your killing blow or heroic killing blow on 5+ instead of 6+. So completely different. I think the 8th edition version is stronger, but would also be, I think, too strong for Old World. It's still good, the Old World variant. The Desert Wind Incantation. So there are two values, 6+ or 10+. For 6+, if a single friendly unit that is within the caster's command range gains a reserve move special rule, that's nice. And then for 10 or more, then every friendly unit within the range gains a reserve special move, which is nice. Kinda the same as in 8th edition. Basically, yeah, in 8th edition, if you would cast it on the smaller variant, then undead units within 12 inch could make a normal move. And if you did it on 16+, so that's very high, you could then all unengaged friendly Nehekharan undead units within 24 inch could make a normal move. So it's a bit of the same, basically. Of course, the 8th edition one is a bit stronger, but magic was, again, stronger in 8th edition to begin with, anyway. Usak's Incantation of Cessation. It's a hex on 10+, range of 15 inch until the end of this turn. Target enemy units have a -1 modifier to strength and toughness to a minimum of 1. And if the spell is cast, the effect of any other hex previously cast on the target unit immediately expire. Let's see, yeah, we did have that one also in 8th edition on 11+, with a range of 24 inch, and the target enemy unit would lose a -1 strength and -1 toughness. You could also try to overcast it on 22+, and then the enemy unit would lose a T3 toughness and strength. Yeah, that's really strong. Still, Old World variant is still very good, I think. Yeah, -1 on strength and toughness is always a good hex. Alright, and then we got some interesting pictures here. The old models. Still really love the Necropolis Knights. The Necrosphinx is a cool model. Scream Skull Catapult is also nice. Still got the metal one. It's quite heavy. Alright, so that's the normal Tomb Kings, if you can say it like that. Then let's have a look at the Arcane Journal, which is quite new. So Arcane Journal, just some things to note. We got a couple of infamies, army of infamies that you can choose from. The first one is the Tomb King of Khemri Nehekharan Royal Host. So if you take this one, 50 points of your army may be spent on at least one Tomb King or Tomb Prince, as many Mortuary Priests and Warrior Hiles as you want, but no High Priest or something, so that's important. You need to spend 33% of your army on at least one Skeleton Chariot, a unit of Tomb Guard or Tomb Guard Chariots may be taken as score choice, which is cool. Tomb Guard Chariots, awesome. As many Skeleton Archers, Skeleton Infantry cohorts and Skeleton Cavalry cohorts as you want. 50% of your army may be spent on Tomb Guard, Skeleton Skirmishers, Skeleton Horse Archers, Ushabti, Necropolis Knights, and Tomb Guard Chariots. You can take a maximum of 2 Tomb Scorpions per 1000 points, 2 Wasp Sphinx maximum, 2 Screaming Skull Catapults. But important to note, you cannot take any Necrosphinx, Colossus, or what's the other thing called? I forgot. It was just in my head. Oh yeah, the Casket of Souls. You cannot take one of those. So that's a bit unfortunate. So, but if you go with this, you get a couple of extra rules. If you have chariots, you can re-roll the dice when you are doing your impact hits, which is cool. Language of the Priest, you can make one of your Tomb King of Tomb Prince for 35 points at level 1 Wizard. And you can also wear armor in addition. And he can use the... let's see, wait. If so, discard no spells from the Lord Necrosphinx. Yeah. Oh yeah, there, that's important. This character may have the Arise special rule. Yeah, definitely nice to have. Lay in wait, so 1 unit of Skeleton Skirmishers per 1000 points may have the Ambusher special rule. Nice. Masterful Outriders, 1 unit of Skeleton Horse Archers per 1000 points may have the Chariot Runner special rule, also cool. And Satchel Discipline, a unit with this special rule can volley fire during a turn in which it moved or whilst performing a stand and shoot charge reaction. Very, very cool. Yeah. So volley firing in stand and shoot, that's pretty fun, I think. So skeleton cohorts, interesting to know. Where is it? Yeah, skeleton archers, skeleton infantry cohorts. It's basically like a mix of archers and spearmen. So if you want, you can, for example, take for like 14 archers and 14 spearmen, put the archers in front, start shooting. Then when they get close, like redress the ranks. Pretty cool, I think. Okay, so the second army of infamy is the army of the priests. So the Mortuary Cult. You can, so it's the other way around. You can go for 1 High Priest or Mortuary Priest, but no Tomb Kings or anything. At least 33% of your army must be spent on Skeleton Warriors, Archers, Skirmishers, Skeleton Horsemen, Skeleton Horse Archers. You can take 1 Tomb Swarm. Ah, yes. I don't think you could. No, Tomb Swarms you couldn't take with the other army of infamy. And you can take 1 Ushabti as score choice, also cool. Unit of Necroserpents. So Necroserpents are only like the serpent, not with the rider. You can take 1 plus Tomb Scorpion per 1000 points. Ushabti, Venerable Ushabti, so like better versions of Ushabti, Tomb Swarms, Carrion, Sepulchral Stalkers, Necroserpents, and Skeleton Chariots. And you can take 1 Necroleph Colossus or Necrosphinx, maybe taken as a special choice. On rare, you can spend as much as you want on Necroleph Colossus and Necrosphinx. can also take 2 Screaming Skull catapults and 1 Casket of Souls per 1000 points. Also interesting to notice that 1 Mortuary Priest in your army may be upgraded to be your Battle Standard Bearer for 25 points, which is cool. You can spend on magic items, and you can purchase a single magic standard with no points limit, and then you will have that special version given in the Banner of the King special rule with, well, losing D3 less wounds with unstable rule. Okay, so what do we have? Authority of the Hierophant. Mortuary Cult army must include at least 1 Lich Priest to beat Hierophant. Okay, the Hierophant of a Mortuary Cult must also be the General. Harmonious Incantations. If a Lich Priest within a Mortuary Cult uses a Wise special rule, while within the command range of 1 or more friendly Lich Priest, the number of lost wounds the chosen unit recovers increased by 1. That's nice. Sepulchral Animus. Before making casting roll, any Lich Priest within a Mortuary Cult army draw upon the magical animus of any undead constructs. Yeah, so you can basically choose to lose 1d3 wounds on your Swarm, Monsters Infantry, Monsters Cavalry, Monsters Creature, or Behemoth to modify your casting roll by those number of wounds. It's hard to say if this is good. I don't know. I have the feeling of dealing yourself wounds to cast something is risky. Alright, so then we got the terrors below. Any Tomb Scorpion or unit of Nexus Serpents may have the special rule for plus 2 points per model. When a unit with this special rule is placed on the battlefield as a result of using the From Beneath special rule, it may nominate a single enemy unit within 8 inches of it and smooth through twice regular infantry or heavy infantry. The nominated enemy unit must make immediately a number of initiative tests equal to the unit strength of this unit. For each set test failed, a single model belonging to the nominated unit removed from play as casualty. Yeah, that's really cool. That's funny. Yeah, so you can basically ambush and then hurt that enemy unit within 8 inch. Yeah, very cool rule. Definitely very nice to have. Alright, so then we get the special characters. Of course, the first one is Setrai himself, or a big guy, for 445 points. 475 points in 8th edition. Movement of 8, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 5, initiative 3, and 5 attacks, and leadership of 10. That's very cool. He has the Blessed Blade of Petra, the Chariot of the Gods, Crown of Nehekhara, the Scarab Brooch of Assyrian, Blessed Blade of Petra, Light Armor, Chariot of the Gods, Crown of Nehekharan, and the Scarab Brooch of Assyrian. Yeah, basically the same as in 8th edition. He's a level 1 wizard. Yep. That's also the case in 8th edition. He has Command of Legion, Scourge of the Necropolis, Dries Dust, Flammable, 2d3 impacted, Indomitable 3, Love Nehekhara, My Will Be Done, Nehekharan, Undead Regeneration of 5+. Cetra does not kneel, such a cool rule. It was called, I think, Cetra the Great in 8th edition. Oh no, wait a minute, here we got Cetra the Great. So Cetra does not kneel as a new rule. What does that do? Command of Legions. He has a Rise special rule, so that's new. That's cool that he has that. And he may use it even when engaged in combat. That's very nice. Cetra does not kneel means that he always has to accept challenges unless his favorite emissary is there, the Kaf. And Cetra the Great is also the same as in 8th edition, means that he has to be the general. It's definitely not some other Lich Priest who's going to be the general. But he has a big command range of 18 inch, and I'm not sure if that last bit is the same as in 8th edition. Let's quickly have a look. No. Oh yes, it does. Cetra's inspiring presence has a range of 18 inch. Yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. Chariot of the Gods. So impact hits caused by Chariots of the Gods have the flame attacks and magical attacks. Nice. In addition, when fielded with the Nehekharan Royal Host army, this small may join a unit of Tomblood Chariots as if it's true Triworld Light Chariot. Oh nice. Yeah, since he's heavy chariot. He has the crown, so the My Will Be Done is for everyone within 6 inch. It's the same as in 8th edition. The Scarab Brooch gives him a 5+ ward save. Let's see. A little bit better in 8th edition. In 8th edition, it gave him a 4+ fast save and magic resistance of 1. The Breastplate of Petra is strength of himself, AP -3, flame attacks, max attack requires 2 hands. An enemy model that suffers 1 or more unsafe wounds from this blade suffers a -1 modifier to its hit roll, both when shooting and in combat for the remainder of the game. In 8th edition, it was also flame attacks and magical. However, armor saves cannot be taken against wounds caused by this weapon. And in addition, a character or monster that suffers 1 or more unsafe wounds from the blast of Blade of Petra suffers -1 to its -1 to its rolls to hit for the remainder of the game. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, so a little tiny bit better, since you cannot take armor saves against it, but it's still very good, I think. Yeah, definitely still a very good weapon indeed. So that was Cetra. Prince Aphosas, so the Scarab Lord. He also exists in 8th edition. But so fast, let's quickly see, where is he? Was he a lord? I think he was a... there he goes. 130 points, same as in 8th edition. Movement 4, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 3, 4 wounds, initiative 1, 5 attacks, and leadership 8. That's all the same. So what does he have? Hand weapon, swarming mass, and light armor. He's an ambusher. Nice. I don't think, no, he was not that. He was no ambusher in 8th edition. Fly Indomitable 2, Kopash, Lonar, Nehekharan, Undead, Regeneration of 5+, Scarab Prince, Lucian's Reaper, and Terror. So what does Scarab Prince do? Should he lose his last wound, then all enemies within 2d6 chance of 2d6 strength 2 hits with AP of -1. It's nice. I think that was the same as in 8th edition. No, actually not. He did not have that rule at all. Oh wait, he does. In addition, if Aphosas is ever destroyed, then before removing the model, all enemies within 2d6 inch of him immediately take 2d6 strength 2 hits. Okay. Yeah, exactly the same. Lucian's Reaper. So when you put him on the battlefield, you choose one enemy character, and then he may reroll any fail to hit and to wound rolls, because that's like the soul he has found or something. And that's the same in 8th edition. It was called Soul Reaper. So same thing, exactly the same. Swarming Mass, as the swarms of scarabs in which Aphosas' cursed soul resides, rise up from the doubt. Okay, yeah, so he has a breath attack. Nice. He did not have like a breath attack in 8th edition at all. So yeah, that's interesting that he has one. Very interesting indeed. Then we have Nakaf, the favorite emissary of etc. Let's see, Nakaf. Yeah, so 120 points in 8th edition, also in Old World. Movement 4, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative of 4 in Old World, initiative 3 in 8th edition, 3 attacks, and leadership of 8. He has the Veil of Conquered Kings and light armor. Rise Dust, Flammable, Herald of Despair, Indomitable 2, Killing Blow, Nehekharan, Undead, Regeneration of 5+, Cetras, Champion, and Sworn Protector. The Herald of Despair. An enemy unit that is in base contact with Nakaf must roll an extra d6 when making fair attacks and discard the lowest result. Same as in 8th edition, enemy units in base contact with the Nakaf roll an additional dice when taking a fair test and discarding the lowest result. Oh, okay, fair and terror. Only fair in 8th edition. Cetras Champion. He must always issue and accept challenges, and then he will have a killing blow on 5+. The same as in 8th edition. Veil of Conquered Kings. Strength +2, AP -2. Magical attacks, multiple wounds 2, and requires 2 hands. Let's see, attacks made with the Veil of Skulls strike at +2 strength during the first round of close combat. In addition, Veil of Skulls has the multiple wounds of 2. Yeah, it's the same. Exactly the same as in 8th edition. Then we got a couple of extra models. So the Arc Necrotect is like a better version of the Necrotect for 90 points. Movement 4, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, and leadership 8. He has hand weapon, whip, and light armor. He's an immortal overseer. So you can, if you want, you can make a leadership test, and if that is successful, then a single unit within your command range will get a +3 modified to initiative, which is nice. Stone Shaper, so you can have one Necrolith, Colossus, Necrostrains, or Ushabti, Venerable Ushabti within their command range, get an extra 1 on their regeneration saves. Nice, definitely nice. So Skeleton Infantry cohorts is what I said before. They have they have to be in 10 of 10, so 10 warriors, 10 archers, 15 points to make them full command. They are a motley crew, so when writing a muster list, a skeleton infantry cohort must contain at least 10 royal host warriors and at least 10 royal host archers. Royal host warriors always occupy the front rank of the unit, pushing past any royal host archers to get there if necessary. Okay. Yeah, so they're always in the front, and the archers can shoot from the back, which is still really nice. It's fun to have like a mixed unit. Venerable Ushabti are a better version of Ushabti. Weapon skill 5 seems to be better. Strength of 5 is also higher. 3 attacks each, and so they will hit on strength of 7. That's cool. Very nice. 56 points. Skeleton or cavalry cohort, so also a use of 5 and 5. So they're also a motley crew. Yeah, motley crew. So basically the same as what I said with the warriors. So the horsemen are always in the front and the horse archers are always in the back. Necroserpents are the serpents without the riders, so you only have the snakes. Also nice. Tombguard chariots, very cool. A better version of skeleton warrior chariots, so basically tomb guards in a chariot. So you got cleaving blow on your tomb guard crew, but for the rest they are basically the same. But nice to take, definitely better than just skeleton warrior chariots. Now you got some extra weapons. You have the Blade of Antarak, the same as in 8th edition, strength +1, AP -1, and for every unsaved wound you will get 1 wound back. Conqueror's Blade for 55 points, strength +2, AP -2. Killing blow, magical attacks, requires 2 hands, strikes last. So you will have a killing blow on 5 or 6. And if you would slay the enemy general in a challenge, you win a bonus of 150 points at the end of the game. That's funny. It's a funny extra addition. You got the Blades of Justice for 35 points. So strength of the model, AP -1, requires 2 hand, multiple 2 types infantry only. You get +1 attack for each rank and enemy unit the wielder is engaged with has. Funny. So you can have a lot of extra attacks if you fight a big unit. Staff of the Aeons is only for Lich Priest in the Mortuary Cult Army of Infamy. Strength +2, AP -1, requires 2 hands, and if you deal at least 1 wound, then the enemy suffers a -1 modified to armor value for the remaining of the game. Nice. Well, hit, so maybe not even a wound, just a hit. Couple of magic armors. Royal Mantle, which is nice, improves your armor value by 1, and you can use the My Will Be Done on every undead unit, friendly unit within 6 inch. Very good for 40 points, definitely worth taking. 35 points, you have a heavy armor which can be worn by Lich Priest, and they also have a 5+ ward save, so that's also very good. Amulet of the Serpent for 30 points, since very unfortunately High Queen Khalida is gone, but if you take it then it's a little bit the same, so the unit will have poison attacks. Not only on shooting but also on hitting, so pretty alright. Relic of the Desert Sun will negate the Dry as Dust or Flammable special rule, which is good, could be very useful. We got an interesting standard of Cetra for 50 points. And if you have this standard, you get hatred for all enemy cattle and the terror special rule, which is good. 45 points, you have Sigil of the Centuries. All enemy units within 16 of this model carrying the Sigil of Centuries suffer a -1 modifier to initiative characteristics. Also interesting, but for 45 points, not really sure. Maybe. 35 points, an enemy standard captured by a unit carrying Tapestry of Conquered Lands with 150 points as a trophy of war. So, could be interesting, but yeah, could be interesting actually. For 30 points, you have Band of the Desert Wind, and you did with the Band of Desert Wind gain the Vanguard and Reserve move specials. That's a good banner. That's definitely a good banner. Couple of enchanted items. So for 50 points, you have the Staff of Awakening. If you use the Rise special rule on a friendly unit whose troop is infantry, you get an additional D3 wounds. That's a lot of wounds you will recover. 40 points, you have the Orb of Petra. Enemy models targets they scatter on enemy unit to join during the shooting phase suffers an additional -1 to hit modifier. That's okay, I would say. If it does shooting and combat would have been better, but okay, it's alright. -1 modifier on shooting for 40 points. Then you got this canopy thing for 40 points. You can make a leadership test. It's a single-use only thing. With test-based players, you have 2d6 plus 3 summon counters on the battlefield anywhere, completely within 12 inches of this model. So you can summon some skeletons. Could be interesting for 40 points, maybe to flank. And they're not worth any victory points, which is good. 20 points, you have Curse Weaver Wand. You get a +1 on casting rolls when attempting to cast a hex spell. There are a lot of hex spells, so maybe interesting as well. And then finally, you have the Tablets of Tahof for 20 points. You can purchase this thing 3 times, and for every time you break it, you get a +1 on your casting roll. For 60 points for +3, I don't know, it's a bit expensive. Anyway, that was Tomb Kings in Old World, and comparison between Tomb Kings of Old World and Eve Edition. Very interesting indeed. At the moment, Tomb Kings are doing very well in the current meta. If you have any suggestions of lists or army composition, please let me know. I'm still trying to figure out what is a good list. I hope you had fun. It was a very long video. I hope I was clear enough, and I hope to see you in the next one. See ya.